All right, y'all, welcome back to Tulsa. It is a Saturday morning. We are starting out on Peoria Avenue, headed north towards North Tulsa from Brookside. And we just passed the Coney Islander place. I think I have mentioned that in at least one other video, and someone left me a very detailed comment explaining which Coney Islanders locations are like the original or the best ones to go to, and also what to order there. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. And now we're coming up on the Channel 2 Oklahoma news station. For me, I consider this main strip in Brookside, and then there's like a lot of residential homes and apartments and things, a few apartments, but mostly residential neighborhoods and homes. And this to me is like the main strip where all of the fitness studios and restaurants and things are. And we're actually about to pass right here. If we were to turn right, one of my favorite fitness studios here in Tulsa, Balance Yoga Bar, but there's also Bar 3. There's Plank, I think it's called, the Pilates studio. Tons of restaurants here. I'll definitely try in the future to do more videos of like walking down the street in this area and maybe, going into some of those businesses and stuff like that. If you guys have any particular requests about places to check out, please let me know. There is a vegan restaurant there, and someone had asked me so I'm definitely planning to go there. I feel like I have this ever-growing list of videos that I need to do for you guys, but I will try to get to it all. So at some points I just let the camera do its thing and try to track or see some of these really nice, beautiful homes that we have here in Tulsa, sort of counteract that negative information I know I got when I was researching Tulsa. And it seems to shock a lot of Tulsans, right? But according to the internet, Tulsa is like this wasteland. Yeah, that's not quite the case. Actually, it's absolutely not the case. And I think here too, I wanted the camera to be facing because we're coming up on some, there we go. Yeah, you can't really see it here from here, as far as like the museum and stuff like that. But I haven't visited this yet either. I have to make my way there, you guys. There's so many things. I went from, 3 months ago, even hearing from native Tulsans, they say there's nothing to do in Tulsa. But I don't know, you from comments and suggestions and things that are suggested by Tulsa Remote for us to check out. I have a very long list. Like, I don't think in a year's time, I don't think I'm going to make it through everything on this list. I promise you, I'm not speeding. It just looks like that. You know what? It's funny watching footage back because in my mind, I was like, there's no townhomes in Tulsa. I haven't seen any, but we just passed some on the right. Definitely not those like huge, it's not like blocks upon blocks of them like you would see in the north, but definitely here. Right, so now we're coming up to the intersection of Cherry Street. This area, every time I get here, it cracks me up because I'm like, this is the most Texas corner. This is the most Texas thing I've seen in Oklahoma. You got the Velvet Taco right next to the Whataburger. I swear, I think on Westheimer, there's a setup just where there's a Velvet Taco and a Whataburger next to each other, just like that. No, there's that car again, you guys. You could barely see it. There's that car with the wings. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Okay, so you see here on the left, we can see the skyline downtown. Yeah, I keep seeing that car with the wings driving around. Like I'll just see it or I'll see it parked somewhere. I didn't even know it was in that footage. And I'm so curious about it. I would love to know in the comments if anyone knows about the car with wings. Or if it went by too fast, if you guys even know what I'm talking about. And then coming right here to this corner, I think this might be the restaurant right over here on the right. But remember, I talked about one of my first videos driving through Tulsa, and I saw the multicultural friend group. It was a restaurant that had a fully, like a glass wall on one side. We can't see that side of it right now, but I think that might be where the multicultural friends groups were hanging out having brunch, okay? Man, if you're one of those hold your breath when you see a cemetery people, I did that for years. Man, that's a core memory unlocked. I don't even know why I started doing that. But I did that all like for years and years of my life. Um, but man, that would have been a rough one to try to hold your breath that long. We just passed the dispensary. I mean, at this point, we've probably passed a couple. There are so many. Oh, there's Bramble. Maybe Bramble was the multicultural friend group restaurant, or maybe it was both of them. But I've heard that Bramble has good brunch as well. And once again, I need to check that out still. Um, yeah, what was I saying? Oh, about dispensaries. There was a video I watched. I think she's a realtor, and she was talking about like what is Tulsa really like. And she said, well, for one thing, you will have, now I know I didn't go this fast over this bump. No, come on now, it's the camera, y'all. But you can you can adjust your speed, your playback speed on YouTube if you want, if this is a little too fast for you. But she said, and one thing about Tulsa is you will have like a church next to a dispensary. And that is absolutely true. She's like, it's all, I'm paraphrasing, but she said like it's all churches and dispensaries around here. So as you see, we've kind of entered like a more industrial type of area, I will call it. Like even driving around Tulsa, I will see a dispensary just randomly in an area like this. Like they will plop a dispensary in everywhere. I think that was one right there. We just passed one, y'all. This is not a game. Every shopping center, every plaza, every parking lot, every open space, there's a dispensary. So, man, we're making our way. We're almost there. This restaurant to the left-hand side, Retro, or I guess it's a bar. Someone told me that they play like hip hop music, and they recommended it to me as someone in my 40s that I might like it because they play like 90s and 2000s music. And they said, I think they kind of serve soul food or more like American, what do you call that? American, wings, pork chops, I don't know, all that stuff. But then I mentioned it to someone else and they were like, oh my God, ew, like that's an old people's bar. Well, I'm officially old people. I don't know what to say. So I don't know. Maybe I'll I'll check it out. I mean, it is called retro, so what do they expect? All right, popping out. We're almost there. And for those who know and really, really know, we might have actually hit North Tulsa now that I think about it. But to me, I consider just based on my what I've heard, I guess, like this, yeah, this street, once you hit right here where the McDonald's is like what's considered, or a lot of people consider North Tulsa. So we've got, some fast food over here. We got that Popeyes, that Wendy's, McDonald's. And there's also a Taco Bell, and I never realized there was a Taco Bell over here. It's funny the things that you notice watching a video back, things that you never saw before. Now, coming up on the right-hand side, we are going to have the Oasis grocery store, which is a Black-owned grocery store here in Tulsa. That was one of the positive things that I heard about before moving here, and I was so excited for that. And it definitely has the right name, right? An Oasis in the midst of all of that fast food that we just saw. So it's awesome that there's something like that here in this community. And that is the only grocery store that I have seen. Now, I haven't traveled around in this area too much. So, you guys might know of other like shopping centers and grocery stores and things like that. But um, it's not too apparent from right here, right? And on this particular day, I was headed to North Tulsa for an event. I do not currently have the organizer's permission to talk about it. Um, but I will say it was a great event, and I met some amazing professional Black women here doing big things in Tulsa. And so that was very inspiring, very encouraging. As here, at least the practice because they sounded great. And unfortunately, I have had my Apple Music on because this stupid NLE Chopper album has me in a chokehold right now. Don't add, I know I am too old and too mature to be listening to him, but I don't know. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Don't judge me. So here we are, man. We're just gonna take a drive around North Tulsa. And before I moved to Tulsa, when I was considering moving here, of course, I was doing lots of research, and part of that included going to YouTube and looking for driving videos, people driving around in different neighborhoods. And I saw that someone had done a video about North Tulsa, and they had like a very unflattering title as far as, the description of the area and things like that. And um, yeah, they essentially said it was like the worst area in Tulsa or something like that. And it had tons, I don't know, maybe 50,000, 60,000 views or something like that. And as I began watching the video, I'm looking, as you guys may be looking right now, and thinking, what the heck? It looks pretty nice. It looks pretty nice to me, was what I thought. Like, I don't see anything wrong, with this neighborhood or with this area. What is this guy's deal? What is he talking about? And I'll never forget, and this gave me one of the best, like my most favorable opinion about Tulsans before I even got here. Like since I've been here, I've been talking nonstop about how I love Tulsans and the way that they are and just the way that people behave. They just seem to have this like sense of just dignity and respect and decency about them. And I tell you, when I went to that comment section, that was my first clue, right? Because people really told that guy off. They said, "How dare you? How dare you talk about North Tulsa this way? I'm from there. I grew up there. You're stereotyping based on the demographics of the community, that it's a mostly Black community." People spoke about how Tulsa was more integrated, or that there was, white people and Hispanic people and Black people, maybe even some native people, living in this neighborhood, and that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I mean, there was just an abundance of comments that were like that. And it was such a relief. I love to see that. It was like the community and the way that people came came together in that way. But also it reassured me too, because as I was looking at, you know, that video, and I'm seeing like some of what you guys are seeing right now, right? I might not be driving down the exact same streets that he went on, or at the same time point in the video, but I was just looking like, what on earth is this person talking about? Yes, we did see like a few feet back or a little ways back, there was like a house that was boarded up or something. But y'all, come on now. Those of y'all who are, depending on where you're from, the description that's given of North Tulsa, this might look like heaven to some people. I would tell you, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, like a community to me, like a working class and a middle class family community, just like so many other communities that I see all over Tulsa. And so thank you to every Tulsan who told told that guy off for trying to give North Tulsa a bad name in ways that it didn't deserve, just based on the population. So on this street, we'll see a little bit of some businesses over here. I started cracking up when I saw this Latimer's building. I'm like, isn't that Rasputin's last name? I think they were the Latimers. I said, look, they done made their way to Tulsa. But yeah, there were some soul food restaurants, a barber shop. There's a few things over here. Now, I will say, and I'm sure someone will come into the comments and speak about, how North Tulsa experienced redlining and neglect, and things like that, like not getting the attention from the city and from the government and things like that. And I do not dispute that at all. However, I do think, and I hope that this video helps to show that North Tulsa is a residential community like many others all across America. And this is where, you know, in the past, African American people were forced to live in this community. And I can see the sense of care and pride that people have, in keeping up their yards, their homes, right? Like, I could see it, I could feel it. You may not see it or feel it, but hopefully you could feel what I felt in these moments, you know. And I think this is just another example of, man, I mean, there were so many different bad things, different categories of bad things that I've heard about Tulsa as a whole, um, that probably wasn't valid, or at least wasn't to the degree that it was made out to be. I think it back, and that it was a great community. So I don't have my experience with Tulsa as a whole about there being graffiti on a lot of the buildings and some of the meanings that are behind those things. I absolutely have no idea and I cannot speak on that, but you will see that some of these buildings are going to have graffiti on them as we pass. So take that as you will. I think that's something that you will see in a lot of cities as well, all over America, right? And so we have left North Tulsa, crossed back through that industrial area that kind of separates North Tulsa from downtown and midtown. And we're headed back to Brookside. Speaking with Tulsans, and even in the comment section, it's so interesting, like how people talk about how much Tulsa has changed. I mean, especially people, there are a couple people who have been here since like the early 2000s or the 90s, and they always say, "Man, you would not believe, you would not believe how far Tulsa has come." Some people don't like the development, of course. I mean, I guess that's a given. People aren't always going to like change, but it's very, very interesting. Over to the left, there was Fat Philly's restaurant, um, and they do like Philly cheesesteaks, sandwiches, stuff. I do believe the owner is actually from Philly. I think I saw that somewhere before I tried them out for the first time. It's a pretty good cheesesteak. Actually, I had a chicken cheesesteak, so I can't even vouch for a comment. But I'll tell you what they got right was that roll. The rolls are on point. So we're crossing back over Cherry Street. Oh, there's Chimmy's restaurant. Still haven't gone there. I've heard that it's worth it for drinks, but I haven't heard too much from people about the food there. But still willing to check that out as well. Well, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to do another video. We'll stop quickly at the Quick Trip here on Peoria, right in the heart of Brookside, and then we'll continue on south. But I'll do a separate video because, according to YouTube, that last video that was like 45 minutes driving around Tulsa was a little bit too long for you guys. So I will respect your time and make it a little bit shorter, one neighborhood at a time. If you have any questions for me, please let me know. Any requests, I definitely, yes, need to make it out to, do some more recording in like South Tulsa, East, West, maybe the suburbs when I finally go out there. So you guys make sure to stay tuned for all of that. Thank you so much to everyone who recently subscribed. I am so excited. I appreciate you all. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace.